Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Today we are down here in Irvine, California with Monte Scheinblum. He was the World Long Drive Champion in 1992, and now he's a very famous golf instructor here in California. Monty, this is not a new fashion, like futuristic fashion
I think
trend.
it is.
Well, maybe it will be.
And I just want to say, when you say when I won the World Long Driving Championship, it makes me feel really old.
Well, how many years ago is that?
24 years ago.
Yeah, but you're
It's
still
almost
competing.
it's almost my silver anniversary.
Right. Still competing though. So what is this? What am I wearing? We're fully kitted up. We're
Right.
synced. What's happening?
This is a 3D motion capture system.
Okay.
This is 17 sensors, including the one on the club. I've got a 3D avatar of you moving here on the pad, and we can measure pretty much anything. You can kinematic sequence, hip and shoulder rotation, whatever. To me, it's at the forefront of technology of outdoor 3D motion capture systems. It's one of the few that works really, really well outdoors.
With TrackMan, there was a lot of ball myths and ball flight law myths that were dispelled.
Right.
And I think this is going to do a lot to dispel myths about the things that actually hold angles, the things that actually build speed. So today we're talking about this chain that should happen.
Right. The kinematic sequence is just how the body is supposed to fire in a proper sequence. And it's been my experience that the firing of the lower body has been very overtaught.
Yeah.
It's obvious. The lower body fires first. Everybody knows
Right.
that. What I'm saying is that if you fire it too much and leave the rest of the body too far behind, it doesn't line up properly. And we've already taken a couple of your swings already, and we've found some pretty remarkable results. Essentially, we know that what your body likes to do is you like to take it back and you like to fire your body, and your rib cage and your arms like to stay in one place. Then you run out of range of motion, and then you just, sorry, broke my pad.
That's all right.
You like to just throw your arms at it.
Right.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So it's funny. All of the anything that I break on this system, they replace it, except for if you smash the pad.
Right. What's the most common thing you've seen with amateurs as far as kinetic chains? What's most people doing?
It's just, for lack of a better way to say it, it's off.
Okay.
There's no, people will slide too much. They'll fire their lower bodies. They'll bring their arms out in front of them early.
Okay.
It's a mishmash of.
So bad golfers are doing a million different things, but great golfers it's pretty narrow what they're doing.
And that's what I was just going to go on to say. On a kinematic sequence chart, what you see is you see the acceleration and deceleration curves of the hips, the thorax, rib cage, the lead arm, and the club.
Yeah.
Okay? And what you'll see on the charts of all good golfers, even strange swings like Jim Furyk, you'll see the hips peak and have a little hill.
Yeah.
And then the thorax, rib cage will peak, and the hill will be right on top of it and above it. And then the lead arm will peak and be right above it. And all three peaks are about the same height, and they're stacked on top of each other. And then the club just fires
way faster,
really fast. And so what that looks like is, would you mind holding this so I don't throw it again?
Yeah.
What it looks like is there's a little bit of a shift,
and
then the hips start to move, and then the thorax starts to move, and then the arms start to move. And as the hips decelerate, the rib cage accelerates more. Then as the rib cage starts to decelerate, the left arm accelerates more. And then as the left arm starts to decelerate, the club accelerates more. So it's a fire, 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 fire.
When you say all of those things in that order, it makes it sound like all this stuff, this classic golf instruction stuff, is completely right.
It is.
As far as like Jack Nicklaus saying, the hips, the legs, everything, but it's happening so fast.
It's happening so fast. And what people have done is they've tried to be too passive, because that's a lot of what's being taught. The arms and the chest and the shoulders, passive. The lower body drives it. And then what happens is we get a curve like what you showed. And what you showed was this, is you take a backswing and your arms and your thorax stay in one place as your body fires.
Yeah.
Then you run out of range of motion, and then your arms just go. Okay? So we saw two things. We saw your chart where the hip acceleration was just a flat curve. They peak and then they just level out and stall.
Yeah.
And then your thorax, your chest, your rib cage did the same thing.
Okay.
And then your arm kind of fired correctly, but way too late.
Okay.
Okay? The second thing we saw is something that's called left arm adduction.
Yeah.
It sounds like a big word. All it is the arm's distance from the chest.
So like how much you're pinned or how much you're...
Exactly. And this is what we saw. In good players, we'll see the left arm load across the chest.
Yeah.
And then as you fire, there's a little bit more loading. So you'll go from, let's say, 35 degrees down to 30 degrees.
Yep.
Then when everything starts to fire in sequence, you go 35, 30, then it starts to increase.
Yeah.
But what we saw in your swing is because you went like this, you went from 35 all the way down to 25.
It means I was pinned, there was 35 degrees difference here, and then it was squished all the way down.
All the way across your chest.
Yeah.
That's why you're prone to an occasional hosel with the irons and big snap hooks with the drive. Here's where we found where it can be really easily fixed if you know what to do. We took this ball and we put the ball in between your knees, okay? All right? And then what we had you do was take a backswing, drop the ball, and then hit. And because you did that, it didn't allow you to do this.
Yeah.
And we got a perfect kinematic sequence, the perfect curves on all three movements of the body, just like a tour pros.
Let's see where I'm at now.
Okay? So we're gonna do the T pose first. Okay, A pose, good. Okay, S pose. Okay, good. Take the club here. Okay, go ahead, dance around a little bit. Nice, okay? Without putting the ball in there, really, really try to feel that right knee stay back so your hips don't run out of range of motion.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, I know from doing other things that my no ball swing is very good.
Aren't we?
Tour quality.
Yeah, aren't we all, right? All right, let's do a real swing this time.
Yeah. You just hit the ball after the beep stop.
Correct. Okay, that was better. I don't think that's going to be quite as good as when you did the ball drill, but that sequence was much better. Let's.
All right, let's check this out. Oh, you know, one of the main things that we saw, Monty, that I do, that I think a lot of people do, is at the top of my swing, I was leaning this way.
A little bit.
Towards the target a little bit.
You still have a little of that in you. And when you lean that way toward the target, there's going to be a tendency to, you know, the momentum carries you that way. Much better. Okay. Not as good as the ball drill, but we're seeing a little better peak on the hips. They still kind of ran out of energy early, but we got a better thorax rib cage curve and a better left arm curve, acceleration curve. So the red would be the hips, the green would be the thorax, the blue would be the left arm.
So if somebody is, and I think this is a lot of golfers, if somebody is hip spinning early,
yes,
what's a good drill for them to be able to do that within a full swing? So we have the ball.
The ball drill. There's so many different ones. There's the squat, which essentially is the same thing as the ball drill. The one that I kind of coined the phrase, the zipper away drill.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, the one where you take a backswing and you move the zipper or the tailbone toward 1030, which is working away from the golf ball. Okay. Anything that prevents this move.
Right.
Because this move, it pins the left arm and it ruins the acceleration and deceleration curves of the hip and the thorax. And these are a lot of big words, and you know, there are 15 handicaps watching this going, I don't care about any of this stuff. To put it in simple terms, you want the bodies to unwind properly. Okay? Yes, the hips go first. Okay. Yes. Yes. But what we're looking for is the proper interval between when the hips fire, when the thorax, the torso fires, and when the left arm fires. Would you mind holding this again?
Confuses me with the ball drill though is that I'm at the top of my swing and I drop the ball, which kind of feels like the hips are going early.
They're not reaching their peak acceleration too early.
Okay.
That's what, see, yours fire out.
They're just kind of getting in that position and then...
And watch what happens. Watch what happens. Do that again. And people are going to see this. Go ahead.
Right.
Take a backswing. Relax your arms. Watch what happens when you separate your knees. Watch what the arms do. See how they start to come forward, and you don't pin this.
No.
Okay?
If
So
I do this,
then you're cooked.
Right.
And you can see you've run out of room. You can't move them anymore. So then what we're looking for is instead of that, we want the arms and the torso to fire a little bit sooner so the interval isn't great, and that's going to look like that.